Welcome back to Whim's Wonders. Our series, Shadows of Evidence, reveals stories of forensic malpractice that have disrupted the course of justice. This series aims to uncover how forensic errors and unethical conduct have shaped legal outcomes and altered legal history. Join us as we reveal the hidden facets of forensic science, tracing its evolution from promising techniques to its most controversial moments. Today, we examine the troubling story of Annie Dookhan, a chemist at the Hinton State Laboratory Institute in Boston. Entrusted with analyzing drug samples, Dookhan's role was crucial in determining the fate of thousands accused of drug-related offenses. Yet, behind her facade of diligent expertise lay a reality riddled with deceit that would eventually emerge as one of the most significant forensic scandals to shake the Massachusetts justice system. This episode will explore how Dookhan's actions not only misled the courts but continue to impact lives today, illustrated by a recent case where an individual's premature release ties back to the reverberations of her misconduct. Annie Dookhan, a name that became synonymous with forensic fraud, began her career at the Hinton State Laboratory Institute in Boston in 2003. Young and seemingly ambitious, Dookhan, only 25 at the time, was trusted to analyze chemical substances in criminal cases. Despite her reputation for speed and accuracy, it emerged that she had embellished her educational qualifications and was manipulating evidence. Her fraudulent activities, which spanned nearly a decade until 2012, compromised thousands of cases, casting long shadows over the integrity of forensic science. This ongoing impact is highlighted by recent events, such as the case of Rayvon Archibald, who was convicted for serious offenses against minors and was released early in January 2022, due to Dookhan's falsified drug testing. Highlight this ongoing impact. Just months after his release, Archibald failed to properly register as required and has since disappeared, unaccounted for more than a year, making him wanted by authorities again in 2024. This chilling consequence underscores the lasting effects of Dookhan's misconduct on both past and present legal proceedings. In the realm of forensic science, the role of a chemist is crucial, particularly in a drug analysis laboratory like the one where Annie Dookhan worked. At the Hinton State Laboratory Institute, Dookhan was responsible for testing substances in criminal cases to determine if they were illegal drugs. During her tenure from 2003 to 2012, she engaged in two main types of tests: presumptive tests and confirmatory tests. Presumptive tests were the first step, using color changes to broadly identify drug classes. For example, adding certain chemicals to an unknown substance could reveal its classification as a particular class of drugs, changing color based on its properties. Following this, confirmatory tests were conducted to pinpoint the exact drug, involving techniques like gas chromatography and mass spectrometry. Gas chromatography, GC, involves separating the chemical components of a sample, while mass spectrometry, MS, provides a detailed mass profile of the molecules present. Together, these techniques offer precise identification of substances, essential in forensic toxicology for verifying the presence and concentration of drugs in samples. This two-step process is standard in forensic laboratories to ensure the accuracy and reliability of drug testing results. Presumptive tests allow for rapid screening, while confirmatory tests provide the necessary scientific rigor to support legal proceedings. Despite these rigorous methods meant to ensure precise results, Dookhan falsified outcomes, sometimes even adding known narcotics to samples to guarantee positive tests for drugs. Her rapid output and tampering not only boosted her productivity but also severely compromised the integrity of thousands of cases, illustrating a catastrophic breach of trust and protocol in forensic science. Annie Dookhan's tenure at the Hinton State Laboratory was marked not only by her astounding output but also by her egregious misconduct. She handled an unusually high volume of samples, often testing over 500 a month, far exceeding the norm. Her rapid processing was achieved through severe misconduct, including the dry labbing, where she guessed the identity of substances, based on police case files or evidence reports rather than conducting proper tests. She forged the results to match these guesses, thus bypassing chemical analyses altogether. Dookhan seemed driven by a desire to be seen as a superwoman in the lab, a reputation that earned her accolades but was built on deceit. The unraveling of Annie Dookhan's misconduct began to accelerate after the Supreme Court's Melendez-Diaz ruling in 2009, which required forensic analysts like her to testify in court. The additional court duties significantly reduced her lab time, yet her sample throughput suspiciously remained high. Her colleagues grew wary as Dookhan's test numbers far exceeded the average despite her frequent court appearances. This discrepancy led them to scrutinize her lab activities more closely, eventually uncovering her malpractices, such as skipping calibration checks, procedures essential to ensure equipment accuracy, and forging colleagues' initials on documentation to cover up her shortcuts. These revelations prompted a full investigation, exposing her extensive falsification of test results and the profound impact of her actions on the integrity of countless criminal cases. The arrest of Annie Dookhan in September 2012 marked a critical juncture in the unfolding scandal. She was arraigned on 27 charges, including 17 counts of obstruction of justice, 8 counts of tampering with evidence, 1 count of perjury, and 1 count of falsification of records. These charges stemmed from her habitual practice of falsifying test results and tampering with evidence vials to align with her fraudulent reports. Dookhan's actions had far-reaching consequences, affecting potentially tens of thousands of cases across Massachusetts. Her misconduct led to a sweeping review of convictions, with many cases being overturned or re-examined. The scale of her deceit had a profound impact, touching accused individuals, their families, and shaking the very foundations of the criminal justice system. Dookhan was sentenced to 3 to 5 years in prison in November 2013, a term that many felt was insufficient given the magnitude of her offenses. Remarkably, she was released in April 2016, after serving less than 3 years. Her case continued to resonate within the legal community, highlighted by a significant legal judgment in June 2017. A judge ordered Dookhan to personally pay over $2 million in compensatory and punitive damages to Leonardo Johnson, who was wrongfully convicted based on evidence she falsified. This marked a precedent for holding forensic professionals directly accountable for their misconduct in the criminal justice system. The fallout from Annie Dookhan's misconduct led to severe and wide-ranging legal repercussions. Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick ordered the closure of the Hinton State Laboratory Institute where Dookhan worked, marking a decisive response to her extensive fraud. This scandal not only shuttered a major forensic facility but also eroded public trust in forensic science, prompting significant reforms in laboratory oversight and procedures statewide. The inability of Dookhan to document which cases she had dry-labbed resulted in all 36,000 cases she handled being cast into doubt. The state was compelled to allocate $30 million to address the aftermath, involving extensive retesting and review of these cases. In a landmark decision in 2015, the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court ruled that affected defendants could seek retrials without facing harsher sentences. This facilitated the dismissal of over 21,000 drug charges in 2017, in the largest mass dismissal of charges in U.S. history. These judicial actions underscore the necessity for stringent integrity in forensic practices, and catalyzed nationwide reforms aimed at enhancing the reliability and accountability of forensic work. The story of Annie Dookhan serves as a stark reminder of the far-reaching impacts of forensic fraud, not just on the wrongfully convicted but also on cases like that of Rayvon Archibald, where early release was granted under questionable circumstances. This saga underlines how deeply judicial outcomes can be affected when the bedrock of forensic integrity is compromised. As we conclude this episode, reflect on the dual nature of such misconduct's impact. It can unjustly imprison the innocent and prematurely free the culpable. Join us in the next installment of our series, as we continue to uncover more cases where the faltering of forensic applications led to severe judicial errors and profound personal tragedies. What are your thoughts on the implications of forensic misconduct? Please like, subscribe, and stay with us for more insights into the shadows of evidence.